Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom, and as always, I'm with my gorgeous, intelligent, very hard-working Wilderness Lodge cabin-loving wife, Michelle.
Thank you, sweetie. Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are recording this episode on Sunday, September 25th, 2022. We hope everybody out there in Florida is watching the news and being prepared just in case Ian comes nearby. Looks like it might be okay for everybody, but we hope you're all safe out there.
Yeah, preparation and prevention, I guess, is the key.
Yeah, if not for this storm, then for a future storm.
Right.
We also hope everybody out there in the Cayman Islands and in Cuba and all that area, Jamaica, are staying safe, and everybody is recovering from Fiona going through Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and everything, because that was really tough as well.
Right. Even Canada got pretty smashed up.
Yeah.
Felt bad for the people in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, best wishes to everybody out there. That's what now that we're living our life here in Florida, we get all the storm news, and we're always keeping an eye on tracking the tropics, as they like to say. We're doing a lot of that recently, and especially with these storms that have come kind of nearby us.
Exactly.
And we are expecting to get some. I think we're going to be on the side of it. We are on the more eastern side of the state. So we will probably not get a lot of rain and some wind. But for everybody on the west coast over there near Tampa and everywhere up to the Panhandle, and who knows where it's going to land.
Right.
We're keeping our thoughts with you and hoping everybody stays safe out there.
Exactly.
So enough about that, though. Let's move on to more fun things. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
you might want to sign up for our newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. Michelle is doing great things for the newsletter. It's all full of Michelle-ness. You look at it now, and it's just so far ahead of what I used to do with it just months ago. She is doing such a great job with it. It's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world.
Well, thank you, sweetie. And I hope those of you who are receiving it enjoy it. If you have anything else you'd like to see changed up on it, let me know.
Yes, for sure. We always want to get your input so we can make everything we put out there the best it could possibly be, and something that you will enjoy taking in on a weekly basis. Another great way to follow along with us is on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, I love what people share, and that we get to really enjoy seeing the things they're doing. Like you've mentioned in the past, it's not always Disney. It's just happy things happening in their lives. And you know, we need all that positivity, and sharing it among each other is good.
Yep. This is the show of positivity, and that's what that Facebook group is all about. That's what this podcast is all about. And that's why we want to continue that on, and everywhere we go, everywhere we are on social media or whatever it may be. We don't bring this up enough, I feel, with the show. I mean, yes, we mentioned that we're about positivity here, but we've made a choice that with this show that we could steer the other way. We could go out there and just say things just to draw in listeners, to draw in downloads, to draw in clicks or whatever. There are several sites and podcasts out there that do that, but that's just not who we are.
Right.
So we appreciate each and every one of you that have joined us on this journey and come back, whether it be weekly, whether it be monthly, if you only listen to us once, we don't care. We're just happy that you joined us on this positive journey.
Right. And it's really great seeing too the involvement of our listeners, so whether it's, interacting on social media or, sharing some fun things that are happening in people's lives on the Facebook group, or people, writing in or sending in either responses to things that we've talked about in our episodes, or again, sharing like their favorite thing of the week. Mm-hmm. I love having people be involved in that we can all be having fun together.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly my same thought, Michelle. So well spoken, as always she is. Also, we are on YouTube. I think I'm going to have a new video coming out on YouTube this week describing or showing off just a little bit about this week's main topic. We will talk about more of that here coming up very soon. So you'll want to subscribe to our YouTube page. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. When you are on YouTube, hit subscribe and you'll know whenever we have that video or any other videos coming on. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, we got a great question this week.
Yeah.
Please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Right. As Tom said, we're here if you have questions. We're happy to try to help as much as we can in giving some ideas or suggestions. But also, if you have questions about our podcast topic or want to share some of your feedback on the podcast, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, like I said, we had a great question this week from Hyperion Adventurer Nick, who had a question about a upcoming trip he has to Walt Disney World around New Year's. We were happy to respond to him, and although it seemed like he had it pretty much figured out already, but I think we just confirmed his thoughts. So it's always fun. So if you ever have any questions, but even if you just want to say hi, please reach out to us. Yes, on the Gmail account, but even through social media, however you want to contact us would be great.
Exactly.
Now, if you want to help support this show in a way and get some swag out of it, well, there's a couple great ways to do that. One is through our Spreadshirt shop. I'm wearing currently our Hyperion Adventures podcast joggers, more likely loungers in my case, because I don't think I'll be doing any jogging in them, but they're very, very comfortable. I'm very happy with these joggers.
Yeah, I was glad you brought it up because I was going to bring it up. And they look good on you. They're very more sleek looking in the sense that, you think of some joggers from decades ago. I guess they were more like balloon or clown pants. And these are much more modern and slimmer looking at it. They look great.
They're very comfortable. They got pockets, drawstring. Like you said, they're slim fit down the legs. They're just very, I'm looking forward to doing a lot of relaxing in my joggers, a lot of lounging in my joggers, but they're very comfortable. But we got lots of stuff over there on the Spreadshirt shop. Just go to spreadshirt.com, do a search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, and all our stuff will come up there. You can also just go to any of our social media profiles. Right there, we'll have a Linktree account, and included in that Linktree account is a connection straight over to our Spreadshirt shop.
Yeah. One of the things that I don't know, I was talking to you about it today earlier, but you did know. But if you're looking at that site the first time and you're picking something out, you can adjust the size or the location of the logo on the article that you're purchasing. So it's not like you're kind of stuck with what's listed there. You have some customization powers.
Yeah, which is really, really nice. If you want the logo larger, if you just want a little bit of the logo on there, whatever you want, if you want it in a certain place on your body, that's great. And they're all, like I said, there's all sorts of different items, all sorts of different colors. Just go and check it out and see for yourself what might interest you. Again, we got the hashtag Real Men Love Frozen stuff there. We got I'm heading to a Hyperion Adventureland stuff there. And of course, our traditional logo. And we're coming up on a holiday season. We'll have our holiday logo stuff there as well, which you might want to check out. Actually, I got to go update that because I think there's some new items that we might want to add the holiday logo to sometime in the next week. Yeah, for sure. Also, there's another great way is through our Patreon page. You just go to patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Check out our different tiers. They start as low as $2 per month, and you get some swag out of that just for joining in on that kind of fun as well.
Yeah, and we really appreciate those of you who are helping support this podcast. So it just makes it much easier for us because it's not a freebie thing, but we love doing it.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for everybody, like Michelle said, who is already a Patreon member and anybody who wants to become a Patreon member in the future. Right. So now, before we get into this week's show.
But there's also other ways that you can help support this that are free.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
By either telling people about this podcast and encouraging them to listen, or giving us a 5-star review with a review attached to it. So
yes, a 5-star rating, a 5-star review, always very helpful with some little algorithm thing that I don't understand, but it works. It helps people are looking for shows that are similar to this, kind of come up on as they're doing a search. And so we appreciate everybody who's also there, who's already giving us a review. You are very, very generous on your comments about this show.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
for
Thank
sure.
you.
So thank you, Michelle, for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Now let's move on to, well, actually, before we move on to this week's information, we kind of like to always take a look back at the week that was, because there's highs, there's lows, there's twists, there's turns, but there's always that bright spot, that favorite thing that we like to enjoy from every week. And we like to express that here with my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, we always start with Michelle because, she has the best list. She does the best research. She definitely has the very best tips, but she almost always has the best my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, what was your favorite thing from this week?
Well, my favorite thing this week, and thank you for your generous compliments. That's so sweet. My favorite thing this week really kind of has a lot to do with what our topic of the week is. But intermingled with that, I would say getting to connect with our niece, Nicole, which we haven't gotten together in for a long time. So, having the opportunity to have dinner, playing a Jungle Cruise game together. And who won that game? Oh, wait. Anyway.
It definitely wasn't me. I think I sunk my Jungle Cruise boat.
But anyways, it was a great, fun evening, and having that together with family was so special.
Yes, that was a lot of fun for sure. Yeah, a lot of fun. Most of my favorite ththings from this week are going to be expressed within this episode. Right. Just a spoiler alert to what we're about to talk about here. But I will talk about one other thing that we got to do this week that was a favorite thing from this week. And that is recording with Frank and Jen, the Dillos, from Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. Yes, we had expressed it last week that we were really looking forward to doing it, having that date. We did record with them this week. That episode will be airing next week. We'll be dropping that episode next week. But it was just so nice to catch up with them again because I didn't realize how long it had been until they brought it up. Yeah. It had been quite a long time, and it was just good to have a nice conversation with them once again.
I always know it's going to be fun, but it's always more fun than I ever think it's going to be. So it was great. Such
great people. Definitely, if you're not checking out Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, go find it on whatever podcatcher you subscribe to because they have a great show as well. And they do lots of fun stuff. And they're all over social media. And they're just great Disney content creators. And you will want to follow along with them. So that was fun for this week. And believe me, I have lots of other stuff that's going to come up in this episode. That is my favorite thing from this week. We also did get a my favorite thing this week from one of our listeners and guests recently on our show. Camille Cotton, who you may have heard last week in our 5 favorite pop versions of Disney songs episode, had this. She said, our favorite thing of the week was listening to the latest episode. We had a blast recording it with Tom and Michelle, and Lorelai had fun dancing to it. And she posted the video on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group of Lorelai dancing to many different songs.
Yes.
And she's as adorable as always.
Oh my God. Yeah. She's so adorable. Words can't even say how adorable she is. I think, what I was telling you was I'd love to put that out there and say, this is how much fun you can have listening to our podcast. But she is just so full of life and got a good singing voice too.
Yes.
We knew she could dance, but now hearing her
singing, dancing, it was the whole 9 yards. Yeah. It was great. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think half the reason we do these music-based episodes is just so we can hopefully get a video of Lorelai dancing because she still is our cutest Hyperion adventurer for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, enough about all that. Let's go ahead and move on to this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week. Well, it's still a little slow as we're catching up for D23 Expo, but I do have one thing I want to talk about outside of our main topic, and that is we now know a little bit more about when you'll be able to use MagicBand Plus at the Happiest Place on Earth and a few details about it when it arrives.
For sure.
And we will also be breaking down a little bit of the first 3 episodes of Andor today, which we're excited to talk about as well. Yes. Yes, so that'll be a lot of fun. Michelle tries to scramble to get that together, but let's go ahead and give her time to prepare by moving on to our main topic of the week. So this week we teased it. Actually, we teased it last week that we had something exciting in the works, something that we've been looking to do for a long time, something that is on our bucket list that we finally would get to check off. And we were lucky enough this week to get to experience, yes, the Cascade cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge Resort.
Yeah, they are incredible.
Just as you'd expect.
Yes.
Yeah. Spoiler alert on a review of the cabins right there. They are wonderful.
Well, I know we're going to go into more detail. So that's just like a general overview, like a one word,
right,
summarizing it in one word.
So hopefully you saw our little video that we put out there on social media of us when we first arrived there. We just kind of talked about it and how nice it was right at the beginning. Are you okay over there? You seem a little fidgety in your new chair.
Yeah. It's just trying to get it to the right location.
Michelle has a brand new chair and she's breaking it in, getting it used to it right in the middle of our show. So
sorry about that.
It's okay. It's fun. It's fun. Lets people peek into our lives
That's
a little bit.
True.
So yes, as we're moving into our new home, we're gradually adding more and more furniture, eventually hoping to stack at this studio and have it ready to go. And one of those pieces is Michelle's new chair.
Yeah.
So
thought I was going to have a matching chair with yours, but
it's a little too large for your teeny tiny body.
There's only one king in the household.
Didn't take us long to move off the subject here.
Yeah, sorry.
Back to what we were talking about here. Yeah, the Cascade cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge Resort. You may have seen them if you happen to go on Bay Lake on one of the boats there, or you've probably seen them advertised or whatever. They're those cabins that are right out front of the lodge, right on the water.
Right.
I mean, a little bit off the water. They're not like the bungalows at the Polynesian Village Resort, which are like over the water.
Right. Yeah, actually in the water, just elevated.
Right.
Yeah.
These are a little bit off the water, but the views were spectacular.
Right. Yeah. It's, there's 26 in all. We were actually on the end one, which was kind of cool. So you do get very different views, I think, from where they start to where they end. But all beautiful views with, great little features associated with those views.
Right. So here's how this whole thing came about. Michelle was looking online. We had some points saved up because of the fact over the last year plus, between the pandemic and between our move and everything else, we haven't been using as many of our vacation club points as we may have normally used in a given year. So we had these points banked up. And when she was looking online, she saw the cabins become available for a couple days, which is one of those things we've always wanted to do. So,
and what really made it good is they were at their lowest point consumption of the year.
Right. So, I mean, it wasn't like we decided to pick spring break or
yes.
Christmas to do this.
Yes.
It's all relative. Lowest points is still a lot more. It's enough points for 2 nights to have most people's full vacations in a really nice place.
Exactly.
But we thought about it. Michelle went ahead and booked them, figuring, hey, we didn't even know if we'd be able to go with my old job situation and my new job situation, if that was going to work out. But better to book it when it became available at this low point total and then cancel later than to find out we could have done it and not have booked it and gone away.
Right.
So we went ahead and did it. Luckily, it worked out with the transition for my new job. I was able to get the couple nights off. And I can't express this enough. We're so happy that it worked out this way.
Yeah. I mean, it was really, people who have DVC membership already know this, that, even just to book out in advance, there's limits on where you can book it in advance further out with your home location, and this is not one of our home locations
yet. Another spoiler alert, possibly.
Yeah, possibly. But also, keeping an eye, like Tom said, just keeping an eye out from time to time to see what becomes available. We almost thought we were going to have to cancel once we had them booked. So, sometimes throughout the year, things do pop up. But this was just one of those where the stars aligned, where it was, the cheapest time of the year for the points. And they were available.
Yes. And it was a splurge. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was a significant splurge in our points. But it was something we always wanted to do, and it just worked out timing wise. So we thought we'd take the plunge and see what it was all about. So we had taken a tour of one of the cabins before. So we had a look at them, and we know we liked them. Even drove us more to wanting to do this at some point, put it on our bucket list even higher because of that. And so when this became available, we decided to go ahead and jump on it. So, so this all took place from Monday, with the day we checked in, which was September 19th. And then we checked out on Wednesday, September 21st. So just a couple nights stay. But I think we really enjoyed that time there at the cabins. And that's what we did. We spent a lot of time at the cabin. Since we did spend so many points on it, we decided let's go ahead and commit to being here and enjoying this cabin during this short amount of time we were going to be staying there.
Right. I think the only time that we were in the park was very early on, before the cabin became available on that day. Then we really...
Yeah. So that's what happened on Monday the 19th. Actually, Michelle and Scott, our son, went up early. I was working that day. I wasn't going to get off work until about 3:30ish. So that means, by the time I changed out of my scrubs and loaded up the last of the stuff into the car and drove out there, I wasn't going to get there till a little after 5. Right. So Michelle and Scott took advantage of the day and went out and took a little visit to Magic Kingdom Park.
Yeah. And again, it was one of those things with great timing. Scott's not a big fan of the parades. And we arrived just as the parade ended. So we got through, and it kind of helped decrease the crowds and things like that too. But it was just a fun day. The temperature was milder than what it's been lately, so that made it really good. We got little sprinkles on us, but nothing that even warranted taking out any rain gear, and had fun. And then once we got notified that the room was available, we were actually able to get over there. We had brought up some more of the perishable foods, and got them out of the car and into the refrigerator and everything like that, and put away, so that once you got there a little bit later than that, I think probably about an hour later, not much later, then we were already kind of a little bit more able to feel settled in at that moment.
It does, just like many of the DVC resorts that are 1 bedroom or above. It does have a full kitchen, and we took advantage of that during our stay to kind of curb some of our costs, and to also just be able to enjoy more meals there within the cabin. And I said all along, it's like if you saw how much food we brought with us, just different items, and we took some of it away with us, but you would have thought we were staying there for like at least 4 or 5 days and not just 2 nights, because we had a lot of stuff. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so I arrived a little after 5, and got to join in, and wow. Michelle, what were your first impressions of the cabin going in there when we got to stay?
Well, like you had said, we had already kind of toured it. So just knowing this time walking in that there wasn't somebody with us, that this was going to be ours to get settled into, and have a really good time, I thought was just really fun, and it was good having, Scott with us in this type of room, because it is a 2-bedroom, type of a house, or room, so that gave him his own room, which is an advantage over the 1 bedrooms. That, yes, we have enough sleeping room, but this actually gave separate areas. I just thought everything seemed to be, they always use the term well appointed and things like that, but yeah, really convenient. The layout was convenient, and all the little extras, in the master bedroom, having the bathtub that had the little bubblies was nice, although knowing that just outside the door you had your own hot tub. So, but just a lot of nice features, a nice sized dining room table that could fit several people, or if people wanted to sit around the little island as somebody was cooking, there were stools for there too. So they just had a lot of things to make, especially if you were going to have a party there, have a lot of things that you could accommodate more people that maybe not necessarily staying overnight.
Right. This place is hit really, if you wanted to get it even just for 1 night, I'd suggest wanting to stay a full day there, not having to get in at 4 or later and then check out at 11 the next morning. We were using that many points. I'd like to have at least 1 full day in it. That's why we did that 2 nights there. But totally, if you can book it for a party, it's a great place to entertain for 1 night during your vacation or whatever it may be. because it's spectacular space. You get your own, by the way, you get your own little parking area that's nearby,
Right.
whether depending on where your cabins are. Ours was cabin 8026, which was the farthest one.
Right.
Away towards the Fort Wilderness side of Wilderness Lodge. So if it's the farthest one away from Magic Kingdom, the most towards Fort Wilderness.
Right.
It was great in that we had the nice view of the lake. We could see the Contemporary. We could see Bay Lake Tower. We did have somebody on one side of us, but the other side, it was just, the trees
Right.
and the wilderness, at the Wilderness Lodge.
Right.
And you had a lot of trees out in front of you as we watched these squirrels leap from tree to tree, which was kind of fun.
Right. The nice thing that they do and how they have it set up is even though you're next to somebody, there are trees, so it's not a complete view, but also where the windows are set up, like our bedroom and bathroom window was on the side of their place where they didn't have windows that they could see in or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, the place is set up. It says it sleeps 8, and I think that's, the best you could. I mean, technically, if they don't know about it, you could probably sleep some more on the floor or whatever,
sleeping bags and stuff.
But there are 2 bedrooms. There's the main master bedroom, which is really nice. It has, the large bed, big TV, lots of cabinet and drawer space, leads into the master bathroom that has, water closet, huge, really large shower with the rain type head as well. It has a large whirlpool bathtub. If we didn't take advantage of that, but if you wanted to, you could. Double sinks, really, really large bathroom space there as well. Over the second bedroom.
And a lot of storage space, like a lot of drawers to put clothes away, a larger than most places closet. And even the nightstands had very long, large.
And even space under the bed to put your suitcases or whatever. Lots of room there for you.
Right.
Over the second bedroom, it's fairly decently sized as well, and actually has a really nice window where, especially when we were out there on the end, Scott liked to keep that open and he could look out, and because we were on the end, there really was hardly anybody walking by. So had a great view out there. That has, I believe it's a queen bed in there, and then it also has kind of a trundle. You've seen these a lot in the newer resorts that are like below the TV, where you pull it out, and a little bed, a little single bed drops down for a little one there. It has great closet space in there as well. Lots of drawers, even a little sitting area by the window that has drawers underneath it. So that's one thing. This place has tons of storage all the way through it. Great hallway with it's got a really cool kind of chandelier as you enter in. You might be able to see it in our title picture. I put a snapshot of it there as well. Leads to another bathroom. It also has its own toilet area, plus shower and sink area that also has a rain shower as well there. So, even if you're in the second bedroom, you're not missing out on that kind of nice amenity. Washer and dryer, another closet. And that's all before you even hit the living room area with a giant TV, fireplace, the kitchen table that fits 8, along with the kitchen island where you can sit some people if you want, several comfortable chairs. And then again, you go outside and there's the jacuzzi there, not jacuzzi, hot tub there. There's a large wooden picnic table, and it wraps around to the other side of the fireplace. Now you can turn the fireplace on the inside, and it also goes to the outside, that same fireplace, so you can sit there and look at the fire on the outside.
It's got glass on both sides.
Right. And then you might think, okay, well, who needs a fire in September in Florida when it's 90 degrees out? It doesn't radiate that much heat, but it really looks cool and adds to the ambiance of where you're staying. And you can even alter the color of it. So it has this background color of it. So you can change it to green, red, purple, blue, whatever you want, or just, turn it off and just have the fire there. And it's just, you turn on a switch just as if you're turning on a light, and it ignites itself. You don't need to worry about getting out matches or turning on the gas or anything. It all handles itself. It's really, really simple, but it's really, really adds to, like I said, the ambiance of the whole experience.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of going back to the first part, the the amenities and the toiletries is by far more than I've had in anything. And that includes when we've been in concierge and things like that, especially on the Disney cruise ship. But I mean, it's not just the shampoo, conditioner, and body lotion, and soaps, but they also have like toothbrushes, shaving kits, mouthwash, mending kit, shoe kit. I mean, they had everything.
Yeah, all in that H2O stuff that
right,
you love. Everybody loves who's gone to Disney. You know, it's all over the place. You get so much. It's crazy.
Right.
And so many towels too, by the way.
Oh my God,
You have so many towels there. You don't have to worry about running out of towels. Even if you have a party going on there. And like I said, this is a great place for a party. We're talking about all this space. You could fit a lot of people in there. And we've heard, rumors of people throwing like Super Bowl parties there. And it could be a wedding shower or, whatever it might be, birthday party. It's a great, I would say it's a wonderful space if you want to splurge on somebody to do something really, really special for them for a night or 2 nights or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
When you go outside, also another great thing about it is that there's music piped in outside. Right. You get that Disney background music right outside. There's a little dial right next to where you would turn on the bubbles in the hot tub that you can turn it louder or quieter. So you don't have to have it if you just want to enjoy the nature. But if you want to turn on the music, it's kind of like the background music that I think it comes from the television. I think it's actually from the fireworks channel that it comes from. I'm guessing on it. But it really is not. We had it on the whole time because we just enjoyed walking outside.
Right. It's not firework music all the time.
No,
It's all like different kinds of background music.
Right.
Yeah.
So we would have that on. We got there that night. We decided to go right outside with a couple glasses of wine and just enjoy looking out at Bay Lake and watching the boats go back and forth and everything, and just took it all in, and it was really nice.
Yeah. It's just, it can be, like Tom said, it can be a great place for a party, or it can also just be a, very quaint respite kind of location of just, decompressing.
Yeah. So we continued on with the night. Michelle made a nice little dinner for us, and we enjoyed that around our little dining room table there, which was really spectacular. Then we decided to take a dip in the hot tub because, you got a hot tub there. You got to put it to use. It started with just dipping our feet in, and then eventually we just went all the way into the hot tub.
Yeah.
What did you think of the hot tub?
It was great. It was, it was a little hotter outside than probably what would have been idealish or optimal for the hot tub, but it didn't matter. It was still great. It was still a lot of fun. Really powerful jets.
Yeah.
Not painful, but definitely.
If you had any kinks, it was going to work them out for you, for sure.
Yeah, better than any hot tub that, like if you've been on a cruise ship or even at the pools, by the resorts. This one, it was great. Right.
It's not a huge hot tub, but the 3 of us fit in it easily. I would say probably 4 people is a good amount that could go in that hot tub. If you're a close knit family, then maybe you could fit another one, or if you got little ones kids, that are, could be of age to go in there, be fine. It's gated off, so you don't have to worry about the little ones straggling in there. There's a unique little system to open up the gate to go in there.
Process system. Yeah.
They also have a phone right there built into it. So if you need to call for whatever guest services, or God forbid there's an emergency, there's a phone right outside there. So we enjoyed that, dried off, and then, nighttime came, and guess what? We also got to witness out there. That's right. The fireworks happened right there. We had an excellent view of the fireworks right over the Contemporary.
Yeah. I think when we first checked in and looked at it, we thought, we might catch a little bit of, maybe a side of it or whatever, but it was fabulous. I actually, we were talking that night, compared to having a theme park view, even felt like it was a lot more spectacular from that location.
Yeah. We were trying to decide why that felt that way. I think that maybe it was kind of a relative with the spatial difference that you're seeing there, because, when we were at the theme park view at Bay Lake Towers, you see all of Magic Kingdom there. And so, in the Magic Kingdom, it looks a little small. And so when the fireworks go over, maybe it's not as grand looking. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but they looked, it was the same fireworks show we saw there, but it looked bigger for whatever reason from this angle. And it helped that also, like I said, the music channel is there. It's piping in the music
Yeah, at that
from
time,
the fireworks.
right. It's synchronized with the fireworks at that moment. Mm-hmm.
So you got to enjoy that as well. And we got to see on 2 different nights with 2 different fireworks shows because the second night was also Mickey's Not So Scary.
Right.
So we got to see those fireworks and hear the sound from that as well.
Yeah, I think this time of year, and I'm sure probably during Mickey's, during the very Merry Christmas party time of the year, that you get the potential of having 2 different fireworks displays while you're staying there, if you're staying there a couple nights.
Right. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Also had a great view of the electrical water pageant as that came by. The Wilderness Lodge as well.
Right.
That was just, it seemed like it was right out there for us, and you could hear that really well and see it for the most part. There was one part of the angle that was kind of direct on that you couldn't see quite as clearly, but most of it, you had a really good angle of where we were.
Yeah, I think with the electrical, especially when you're actually kind of close to that compared to any of the other resorts when you're staying there at the cabins, is that it's dependent to like how much it drifts or what angle it's pulled into to determine how straight on you're seeing it or whatever. But, yeah.
So that was fun. So that was we did all that all in our first night because we were taking advantage of it. We spent a lot of time out on the porch because that was the whole cabin's great.
Right.
I mean, you could spend time in the living room, the kitchen, the bedrooms. They're all great. But being out there, you're on the water, looking at, the water, but also these great trees and everything around there. We spent a lot of time just sitting out there and looking out at that. Oh, there's also a great ceiling fan out there. So it kind of keeps the air circulating a little bit within there. So even though you're outside and it could get a little warm, kind of keeps a little breeze when there's not a breeze going to kind of help you stay a little more comfortable when you're on the porch. So that was it for the first day. Next day we got up and of course immediately we made coffee. Yes, there's coffee maker in the room. There is coffee supplied for you. Not as much as we would have liked.
Yeah,
coffee supplied.
Yeah.
But it was enough for us.
Right.
Made coffee and of course right out back onto the porch and coffee in the morning as the sun was rising over Bay Lake. And
you got some good shots.
It was a really, 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 really nice way to start the day.
Yeah. Definitely. Again, very peaceful, relaxing, but enjoyable nonetheless. It just had, I guess somewhat comparable to the feel at, for wilderness cabins in the sense that you could sit outside and be, at the, picnic table kind of thing and look at things around. But this was a lot more peaceful and you were enclosed in a screened in porch.
Yeah. And of course, every cabin might vary a little bit. I do think that you still get a nice amount of privacy and a nice amount of wilderness around you on any of the cabins. I mean, the more you get towards the main area of the lodge and the pools and everything, it's going to be a little more active, a little more busy than we were on way at the end. So we hardly had anybody around us, it seemed like. But it still was really nice out there. The one thing I would say is that there was the cabin next to us. What faces us there is like their air conditioner compressor and some stuff from the hot tub. So you would get a little bit of that sound.
Right.
That was the only thing that was kind of distracting about being there. Yeah. Everything else was great about being on the back porch. That's why we spent a lot of time out there. We decided that early on this trip that we weren't going to go and do a lot of the parks while we were there because we were spending so many points because this was kind of in a way an expensive stay that we were going to take advantage of every minute we could get in this cabin. So we spent, we did explore around, the Wilderness Lodge. You always want to go because the Wilderness Lodge is one of the best places. Some will argue it's the best place to visit as far as the ambiance and the decor and everything else at the entire Walt Disney World Resort. We wanted to take that in and just kind of walked around the grounds a little bit and saw that. We were, so that was one of the few things we did to get out and around. But mostly we stayed in the cabin. We went,
hence all the food.
We had more, wine. Or actually, no, we had cocktails. And I made guacamole and we had chips and guacamole.
Fresh guacamole.
And Michelle, delicious. What drink did you make for us to enjoy while we were sitting out there on our back porch on the Tuesday afternoon?
Right. Well, we had tiki rums.
Yes, Michelle made those for us. She brought all the ingredients, made them. It was a little trickier than we expected because she thought there was going to have like some cocktail shakers and some measuring things there. They don't. They have a lot of stuff for you to cook with. They didn't have those things there, so she had to improvise a little bit.
Right. The only measuring cup they have is like they have one of the Pyrex measuring cups, and that one happened to be in the dishwasher when I was making the drinks, anyways. But that's it's not as precise as like when you're have like jiggers and things like that. So when you're trying to figure out, is this an ounce or is that an ounce and a half, or
Wow, Michelle did a good job of improvising. They turned out great. We had a couple lovely cocktails as we were sitting out in the back porch watching the boats go by, enjoying ourselves some nice cocktails that were more tropical than they were wilderness, but it was still really, really good.
It's like Adventureland.
Yeah. So we enjoyed that and had a good day. Later on, I created some flatbreads. I did a grape goat cheese prosciutto flatbread, and we also did more of a traditional kind of pepperoni flatbread for Scott.
Yeah.
And your niece came over and we sat down and had a nice meal together to enjoy the evening.
Right. Yeah, that was nice. For sure. That's why I said it was like my favorite thing of the week, getting together. But it, again, it really is an easy place to do. Like, you made the flatbread from scratch. Everything we cooked was from scratch, even though I guess one of our dinners was a little bit more processed, but
not really.
Or fish tacos. But anyways, you at least have the ability, if you wanted to do something. I'm not saying to, prepare a huge 5-course meal there or anything like that. You could.
Yeah.
But anyways, it has the space. You feel like it's open enough space that you could do that.
But you also have options, if you're around, it's not that far to get down to Geyser Point, the grill there, the Roaring Fork, in the Wilderness Lodge itself. And of course,
and both of those have mobile ordering.
Right. And then of course, there's other great dining options there as well, if you want to do that. But, you got this great space, you got this great kitchen.
Right.
Why not, make at least a few things. I would suggest always that you at least have stuff for breakfast there, and then if you're going to the parks, if you're going out to eat, later for dinner, at least, your breakfast stuff is kind of handled for you.
Exactly.
So, since you have the full refrigerator, since you have a full oven, kitchen, toaster, all that stuff. Ice maker. Ours had an ice maker as well. It was making ice for us. So it was nice for our tiki runs.
Yes.
So very good. So we had dinner. We went down to the Roaring Fork, speaking of that, and picked up a couple of desserts. Since we didn't really bring much for dessert, we did go pick some of those up there and tried a couple things. Not our favorite desserts, but I mean, they were good. They just weren't amazing.
Yeah. I think we've been spoiled by staying at some resorts that have a little bit more variety of what you could get for desserts.
They were better looking than they were tasting. I'll say that.
Yeah. But, they carried us through. Well, and we also had the disadvantage. The store had a problem with their freezer. It broke down. So it didn't have some of easily pull out like Mickey bars or whatever. Although I think they did have them.
I think it was up and running by that time.
Yeah, or had them on mobile order at least, or something like that. But yeah.
But anyway, we got the desserts and, enjoyed them. They weren't, like I said, they looked better than they tasted, but they weren't terrible. They weren't bad. They may be just a little more sweet than we would have preferred.
Excessively sweet, yes.
But they were good. And we went out back on the porch and we played that game of Jungle Cruise that Michelle brought along. We brought board games along with us to entertain ourselves.
It's a great place to play games.
It was a great table, and we had a great time out there. I enjoyed that, and that was fun. And yes, Michelle won. She is the best. She is the best. She has the best list. She does the best research. Well, apparently out of our family, she is the best Jungle Cruise skipper.
I don't know if that's true. I think that was the first time I've won. Every time, like when you and I have played, you've always won. So it was like, that was unique.
It tends to be, I think Michelle is on a roll since we've come to Florida. She's winning more and more often recently.
I don't know. Scott and I played the Goofy game last night while watching the movie, and he won by 1 point.
Oh, there we go. There you go. So anyway, we played that. Nicole went on her way. That's Michelle's niece, but we still got to catch the fireworks, which were the not so scary fireworks, which were nice. The electrical water pageant again. And after a while, of sitting out there with a glass of wine, we decided to call it another evening. And yeah, it was nice. We woke up the next day, had a little breakfast, checked out, and just we're raving about our time at those Cascade cabins at the Wilderness Lodge, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've tried to, share with you our feelings about it, some of the things we did about it. I guess a little difficult to describe it. I think it's elegant rustic, but not so elegant that you feel uncomfortable there. It
feels very homey.
Yeah.
For this, ridiculously crazy space that you're staying in. It feels, you feel like it's quaint at the same time. Right.
But you do have the upscale of, a fireplace there. The woodwork, especially for like the table and everything, were beautiful. The granite tops.
It has these automatic shades if you want to close the windows or whatever. Even because it's really high roofs, elevator roofs with these giant, I don't think I mentioned these giant picturesque windows that even if you don't want to go out on the porch, maybe it's too hot, maybe it's raining too much, it's windy, whatever, you still get great views because these windows are so huge in there.
Right. Very tall ceilings. Yeah. So yeah, it just like even just little touches of things that looked more elegant than what you would see or just, I don't know. I don't think elegant is the right word, but just upscale from most of the resorts. Like when you walk in the entryway, they have this narrow but long counter that you could put, whether it's, keys or your purse or, whatever you have in your hands as you're walking in. And that's, very beautiful wood. They have a lot of wood, like if you were to think of cutting trees in, what do you call that, horizontally or whatever, and making artwork out of that. They have that up there. So just a lot of really upscale touches. Like I said, in the bedroom, the nightstands, they weren't just like box nightstands. They had like a very nice facade to them and shapely and things like that. So just upscale.
It felt like like an upscale cabin. It really did. I know it is a cabin, but that's what they name it, but that's what it really, the artwork, the decor, the little nuance throughout it. There's a lot of Pacific Northwest to it. There's some pictures of logging and stuff throughout there, but in a tasteful way. It really, it is well, we've already mentioned it's well appointed. And that includes the decor. You really feel comfortable and like you're in the wilderness at home, so that's really, really nice.
I think of all the resorts that we've stayed there, it's the least Disney looking in the sense of the artwork that's around. It's, you don't have as much of that. Not that was good or bad. I think what they provided set the theming and the mood that was achievable there. And I think that was great. It was a lot of room. All the rooms were fairly large. Again, so you could accommodate a lot of people, but even just like the bedrooms were large, even in the main bedroom, the master bedroom, instead of just like a desk, they had like this area that was almost like a really long shelf desk, but they also had, as we mentioned, plenty of storage areas and things. So, yeah.
Plenty of places to plug in your phone or whatever, as far as even USB ports but also, standard plugs. All the TVs, every single one of them, they're all large in all the bedrooms, and you can cast to every one of them if you want to, put something on for the kids. Although they do have a lot of good Disney stuff there. Also, there's a television. I forgot to mention this earlier. There is a television in the mirror in the main bathroom. So if you want to sit in the tub with the whirlpool and watch, a little TV, you can do that or whatever, where you're getting prepared to go out for the day or the night. You have just TV right there.
Or doing your makeup or hair, you can have TV on.
I'm always doing my makeup. It was great. So we checked out, and you may have seen this also on social media. We decided to go ahead and make a quick journey over to Fort Wilderness at Michelle's prompting. I was not necessarily in a hurry to do that, but she thought about this might be a good thing. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. When we were over there, we decided one of the things that we loved, and we didn't have a chance to do it this trip, but we could take it home with us, is that some of P&J's Southern Takeout's fried chicken dinner that they have, which we love. It's kind of a nostalgic thing for us. Like, yeah, it's just about to be 11:30, which is when it changes from breakfast there till lunch. And so we can pick this up, bring this back with us. So we went over there. Michelle mobile ordered it. We walked in. We were waiting for it to flip over from breakfast to lunch. Michelle quickly had to run out just for a second to go check out something in the shop while we were waiting for the food to come in. And I noticed a gentleman there that I thought looked very, very familiar to me. So Michelle comes back and I said, hey, look, see that guy over there? Is that Tony Baxter? Tony Baxter, if you don't know, is a Disney legend and an Imagineering master.
Right.
And you looked at it and thought, maybe.
Yeah.
You went over and asked a cast member what she thought.
Right.
She seemed to think that could be a possibility. So Michelle went up and asked
I think she was
them,
trying not to say yes, but to say yes. I don't think they're allowed to maybe say yes, but the way she was saying it was like, well, he could be. They do come here and, it wouldn't surprise me. Things like that,
So Michelle went over and asked him. And yes, sure enough, it's Tony Baxter. He was picking up some breakfast there at the P&J Southern Takeout and was just a great guy. We didn't want to take up a lot of his time because he was having breakfast. We just asked for a quick selfie. He was very accommodating to us. We just took a quick couple pictures with him. Thanked him for all he's done. He mentioned that Fort Wilderness is the best place to stay, which, maybe the Wilderness Lodge cabins are the best place to stay, but we would not disagree because we love Fort Wilderness as well.
Yeah, Fort Wilderness, especially the cabins there. But
So that was just a really special capper to this short little trip we had out to Walt Disney World.
Right. And totally unexpected. But talk about pixie dust and magic. Yeah.
So that was just really, really nice and unexpected and fantastic. So bottom line, final impressions on the entire trip, but especially the cabins itself. What do you think, Michelle?
Yeah, I love them. I think I mentioned to you while we were there, this would be a great, and it does take up a lot of points. So I don't know if we could do it every year, but if so, once a year or every other.
Unless we get a lot more points.
I know. Every other year, something like that, to say this is something special. I think around the holidays would probably also be really, really fun to do. It's just, if there's ever like times that, and the reason I think of holidays too is it's a busy time of year. You're trying to get everything done, all the shopping done and things like that, food preps. It's nice to get away from there and just relax and be in this amazing location.
Yeah, it's a really special spot. If you can afford it, if you do have the points, if you can find it in your budget to do a night or two, I would suggest 2 nights because you really want a full day there to check it out and really enjoy it. If you're going to spend that much money or that many points, save them up and do it. It's well worth it, especially as a special part of, some celebration on a trip. I would say cap off a trip with it. You don't want to go in the middle and then, not that there aren't great rooms elsewhere, but you don't want to do that and then go to the All-Star resorts or whatever, afterwards. Have it be at the end of your trip or whatever. It's as much as expensive as they are, as many points as it takes to get there. I'd say they're extremely worth it. Doing at least one time if you can afford it in your life.
Yeah, I think especially the time of year we went where it was at its lowest points. I know that, as it gets closer to really close to holidays, it jumps up. I mean, the beginning part of December is not that bad when, you're using points, but as it gets closer to Christmas, the week of Thanksgiving, spring break time, then it really bumps up. And then I don't know, in terms of if you're looking at value of that, you might, again, that's more of a personal thing.
Everything is a personal thing. What's value to you?
Yeah. But, just to throw it out there because people can see. So it was 88 points a night. That is the lowest of the year, like any time of the year. early December, parts of January, it's like 94. But like I said, it gets more. Most of the year, it's over 100 points, 115 and more. Certainly around the holidays, it's even more than that. And if you aren't a DVC member, you can still, they do sell some. I don't know how many they actually sell versus DVC, or you can, I know some people rent DVC points, there's a market.
Even if you're not a DVC member, that's a way to do it.
That's an opportunity to do it too. But anyways, so cool.
And I would also suggest, if you're thinking about doing this, that maybe if you can find like a couple families that would want to go, because there is so much space in there that you can fit 8 people in there comfortably. I mean, like seriously comfortably. The couch folds out. There's also a fold out chair in the living room as well. So not only do you have the master bedroom with, definitely 2 people easily fits in there. The second bedroom where you've had the queen bed plus the drop down bed from the trundle bed from the wall. And then you have the fold out couch and a fold out chair. So there's plenty of places to sleep in there. If you get a couple families that are willing to split the price on it for a couple nights, that's a way to do it as well. So.
Yeah. I think 2 families, especially where, because I guess I think too, in terms of, bathroom facilities and showers and things like that. I mean, obviously if it's a family that, 2 families where each family has multiple kids, then the fold out couches and things end up really being a great thing. And that way I think everybody feels pretty much the same level of elegance, where I think sometimes a 2-bedroom where you feel like, well, the master bedroom is great, but the secondary bedroom is just a what if, and that wasn't this.
Yeah, I mean, the secondary bedroom isn't as good as the master bedroom, but it's not that far off of it. It's not. It's pretty darn good. It's not a huge drop down, or it's not like you're staying in a 1-bedroom where somebody's. If you're going to go with a couple people, somebody's getting the fold out couch, that's not necessarily the case. I would also say, like, maybe if you're going to do a party there, like one night, like, have a couple main guests stay in the bedrooms and maybe they pick the higher price. But then if there's some people coming to visit for the night to have a party, like a Super Bowl party or a birthday party or whatever, maybe they kick down $20-$30 each or something like that, for this special site to kind of had this great thing. Maybe that's a way you can afford it as well. Anyway, if you can afford it, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody can afford this, unfortunately, but it is a really special place, and we highly recommend it. Most definitely. So that is checking one off our bucket list, our stay at the Cascade Cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So apparently we really love that spot because we talked for a while, but we did want to kind of cover a little bit about Andor, the new Star Wars Disney Plus series that debuted this week. That was the one thing why I was trying to rush home from the cabins because I was very, very excited. I'm a big fan of Rogue One. Michelle is as well. Yeah. I was very, very excited for this series. So we wanted to get home and watch it. And we were not disappointed, I would say. Right, Michelle?
Correct. And it was really great that they had dropped 3 episodes for that initial view.
I think it was really important, especially since the episodes are not super long. They're only about a half-hour episodes each. So it's about an hour and a half. But to kind of build where this was going, I thought that the way it laid out, it was kind of a slow build in those first 3 episodes. I think if you had only dropped the first episode, not that it would have driven a lot of people away, but having the 3 episodes there to kind of carry the story along, I just felt kind of pulled people in more.
Right. I would agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah. I think it's, they're doing kind of, and this is what they've done for every Star Wars series so far. There's a different feel to every single one of them. This one feels gritty, dirty. It feels very much, kind of like Rogue One in the fact that, look, you're not getting a lot of what you saw in many of the Star Wars series so far, which has been, and I mentioned this that night, a lot of Star Wars is focused on the Jedi, the Sith, the Senate, the Queens, all this stuff that is kind of the the top notch, the upper
Right.
echelon
Right.
of the Star Wars universe. This is getting down to the people and where they're living and just barely subsiding,
Right.
Somewhere on some of these planets that are being decimated by the Empire and so forth. And I kind of like that. It's kind of got that down to earth feel to it.
Right. I agree. I think in comparison to the Obi-Wan series is that one, I guess because of the relationship between the two main characters there, that it was sad, it was heavy. And this, it's like suspenseful. It's like watching a movie about something happening, and that's where I think the movie is intriguing. It's not like also kind of with when you looked at the Marvel series where it's like each episode is like leaving more questions to be answered. This is more, I'm here, I'm watching a suspenseful story, I'm getting into it. I, like you said, the more common people, you're seeing what is the effect of this, and it's almost like feeling like, oh, that's so natural in thinking of the timeline of what was happening.
It really feels like, we're seeing the beginning of the rebellion. And I know that this isn't the very beginning of it. This is, they'll say, it says at the beginning, it's 5 BBY, which is 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. So from Star Wars A New Hope,
Right.
When they blow up the first Death Star, that's where this takes place. So the rebellion has already started moving in that way at this point. But this still does feel like you can see that where the rebellion came from.
Right.
These small systems, it wasn't, yes, I mean, there were Senator Bail Organa, from Alderaan. It was Senator Mon Mothma,
Right.
Princess Leia, all this stuff, from these big names. But it was also what it really came from were these little communities, these little areas on these different systems
Right.
that stood up to their oppressors. And you're kind of getting that feel here. And that's really what this feels like is the start of the rebellion.
Right. Like they finally not only individually were done with what was happening, but then starting to realize coming together as communities to this would have more impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The cast is great. Of course, Diego Luna reprising his role as Cassian Andor. I know Michelle really likes him. He's like, that is a handsome man right there. I couldn't disagree with her. He's a good looking dude.
Sorry, babe, that just came out.
No, it's true. It's a fact. And he's just great in that role.
Right,
And he just stepped right back into it and is Cassian Andor, which I love. Adria Arjona, who is playing Bix Colleen, who is the female who you see there on Ferrix. That is a big part of him connecting with the Stellan Skarsgård character, is Luther Rail. It's really, it's an interesting group for sure. And then the bad guy there, Kyle Soller, who plays Cyril Karn, who is kind of that offshoot. It's kind of a corporate security branch that is an offshoot. Kind of they help do security for the Empire and some of these mid-rim planets. Right. He's just swarmy. You just see he was just this middle management guy that's trying to, make a big impression out there. And it was just, it just rubs you the wrong way.
Right. Yeah. Somebody's like, I think I'm going to take advantage, kind of a situation to look fabulous.
Right. Anyway, we loved it so far through the first 3 episodes. We're happy that this is going to be a 12 episode run for the beginning part. And I guess from what I understand, there's going to be another 12 episode run after that. So plenty of Andor yet to come, and we couldn't be happier about it. I think we loved it so far. I think you agree, Michelle.
Yeah, very much so. And again, I'm seeing it in a lot, like we talked about with the D23 convention that they were saying it, or expo that they were saying it over and over. I'm seeing it in a lot of things that are in social media and print that Disney says, but storytelling, that's what they are right now. They know they're good at it, and they're really embracing it. And this is storytelling at its finest.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to see where it goes, and very excited for more of Andor. Now let's quickly get to the Disney stories of the week.
And they have a really cute droid.
Yes, which is Michelle is big time on. Always any more droids she can add to the universe, she's all about it for for sure. So quickly, the Disney stories of the week. I just have one for you this week, and it is that we now know a little bit more about when you'll be able to use MagicBand Plus at the happiest place on earth. This has been something we've been waiting on for so long, just to have MagicBand in general.
Right.
We're like, why don't they ever do it at Disneyland? Let's get it going. There seems like they had some of the tap stations where they could use it. Let's get it going. Well, it's finally about to happen. This from the Disney Parks blog. They say this fall, we are in fall now. Happy fall, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. MagicBand Plus will make its momentous debut at the Disneyland Resort, bringing the wearable technology to the West Coast for the first time. So fall extends for a while here.
Yeah.
There's no exact date on it, but no, it's coming very, very soon.
Right. Yeah. No, it's truly exciting. Like you said, we've been out there. We've seen evidence that they could have had it earlier. So it's great that they're finally going to be incorporating it and, have some same functionality and some unique to Disneyland functionality.
Yeah, so very excited for that. They go on to say, launched at Walt Disney World earlier this summer, MagicBand Plus is a next generation wearable that enables you to see and feel park experiences in a new way, thanks to smart features like color changing LED lights, haptic vibrations, and gesture recognition. Available in a growing assortment of designs and colors. You were looking at it this morning. You saw a bunch of new ones, didn't you?
Yeah, they added a whole bunch of, I think of the way I said it is, they had some nice generic ones that we really were excited about, but now they are a next level of amazing.
And I'm sure we'll be adding more and more, especially as we approach for Disneyland's use of this. MagicBand Plus offers another opportunity to show off your personal style in the parks. It's also rechargeable with the included charging cable and waterproof, keeping the fun going and going. When MagicBand Plus is paired with a smartphone device through the Disneyland app, it unlocks personalization options such as selecting unique light colors and adjusting the vibration and motion recognition settings, all things that we have used a little bit of already with Walt Disney World. Now, some of you who haven't visited the Walt Disney World Resort, you may not know what MagicBand Plus can do. So here are just a few ways that it will make your parks visit easier and more fun. You can connect your MagicBand Plus to your theme park ticket or Magic Key Pass in the Disneyland app. So yes, you can just tap using that. Now, anybody who's going to Walt Disney World, using the MagicBand, that's just the way you can go in.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be able to do that at Disneyland as well.
So happy about that.
Of course, you will still need the ticket that is valid and a park reservation. Just because you have a MagicBand Plus doesn't mean you're going to get to walk into the parks anytime you want. But it will help you get in quicker when you want to go in, or at least it'll make it'll make it a little bit easier for you. You'll also be able to use it to check into Lightning Lane entrances if you either buy the individual Lightning Lanes or if you get Genie Plus and secure Lightning Lane somewhere, you can just be able to tap that in rather than having to use your phone or your ticket to get in. Also capturing precious memories with a Disney PhotoPass photographer. You will tap that rather than use your ticket or your pass now. So they'll just be able to tap it right on your MagicBand Plus, and that'll link all your photos to your Disneyland app as well. MagicBand Plus also adds new immersive elements and surprises to park experiences in sync with special moments during select nighttime spectaculars. Your MagicBand will complement the magic in the skies by pulsing with colorful dancing lights and vibrations. MagicBand Plus will come to life during World of Color, in Disney California Adventure Park, and Phantasmic and other select night chime shows in Disneyland Park. And yes, we've done this at Walt Disney World as well. You'll also be able to explore Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland Park like never before with Star Wars Batuu Bounty Hunters Interactive Quest. That was the one we were talking about a few episodes back that we experienced for the first time, where you could kind of go and you tap at a space, they'll give you a bounty to go find, and then it would kind of do a hot cold thing where it would vibrate to lead you to a door. Where that bounty was, and then you can use it with your app to kind of see who that bounty is once you've discovered them. Return back and collect your bounty, and then go get another one and do this kind of treasure hunt, looking for these bounties as you go there. So you'll be able to do that once it comes out at the Disneyland park as well.
Yeah. So that's what I said. That one sounds very similar to the one we can do at Disney World. And I love how Disney is doing the technology now. Yes, you're doing your MagicBand and the app, but for augmented reality. And I know that virtual reality is a big thing, but I think augmented reality has a lot of great features to it, which you feel like feels a little bit more normal, right? You're walking around and you're not walking around with the headset on your eyes. You're actually getting to experience the regular part of the park, but then, like you said, you're finding your bounty behind a door. And,
yeah, you're getting that also with the 50th anniversary statues, the golden statues through Walt Disney World Resort. So this is just the beginning of this. There's going to be a lot more to come using that. And it wouldn't surprise me. Yes, that Bounty Hunters game at Batuu is the start at Disneyland. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other ways. It wouldn't surprise me if there's something that happens at Avengers Campus coming very soon as well. They haven't, this is just guessing on stuff. I don't have any knowledge on this.
Right.
But I think there's going to be a lot more ways to come. And they even say that this is just the beginning. There's going to be a lot more ways to use your MagicBand Plus coming in the future. I would imagine not only is that at Disneyland, it will also be at Walt Disney World as well.
Right. Yeah. They're still expanding on it too. Like for right now, it will not open your doors at a Disneyland resort.
But eventually.
But it will. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They're
expect
still,
that to,
they're
to
still
be
getting,
coming,
building the technology to be supported by it.
So lots of great stuff coming. Very excited for that. Even though we're not going to be going to Disneyland anytime in the very, very near future, we are looking forward to when we get back and then being able to use MagicBand Plus there finally again. And so happy for all of you who, like we used to be, are regular Disneyland visitors that will get to experience that technology, possibly for the first time if you haven't been to the Walt Disney World Resort.
True.
Yeah, for sure. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, well, we always start with Michelle because she's wonderful, awesome, amazing, all things great in the world. You know, she does the best research. You heard last week she has the best lists, but she definitely has the very best tips. So here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Okay. So, considering what's going on right now with a tropical storm Ian, which is expected to be a hurricane, I thought, rain is on my brain right now. So I thought I would talk a little bit about being at the parks and rain, and just actually looking at again, the positive side. Rain can really help experience your park experience to be even better, because a lot of times the crowds really start to thin when the rain starts coming down. So it shouldn't be something that you would necessarily feel is a need to leave or a need to feel like your trip has come to a screeching halt. But preparation can make that more enjoyable. And that's really key. And obviously, and a lot of people know about, the ponchos and other rain gear, umbrellas and things like that. I think we've mentioned it in the past, but just as a reminder is making sure you have a poncho or some kind of cover for if you have a stroller with you as well. That sometimes I think is something that we tend to forget. The other thing is wearing a baseball cap underneath your poncho can actually help keep your face a little drier and feel a little more comfortable because it's, holding it the end of it out a little further. Some other things you can do is if rain is going to be in the forecast and in Florida, that especially seasonally, that's pretty regularly. It's just how much or how duration, but you might want to bring some flip-flops or some other waterproof footwear that you can change into.
Or at least another pair of socks.
Right. Thank you. I was going to say socks too, so that's good. To keep those things dry so when the rain's done, you can put them back on, have nice dry feet. Like you said, if nothing else, bring extra pair of socks. Wet feet really increase the risk for blisters, so you don't want to continue walking around with
just weird squish, squish.
Yeah. So if you're staying off property or if you're at a park where your resort is further away and maybe not be convenient if you got soaking wet or whatever, you might want to think about renting a locker and putting a spare something, whether it's a spare t-shirt and socks or shoes or whatever you want, but that you could have easy access to and not feel like you're carrying it around in your backpack.
I bring a spare Elsa gown wherever I go.
I know you do.
Wherever I go.
That's true.
Not just talking Disney parks.
And then the other, you're just so funny. Then the other thing is to also consider, protecting your electronics, your phone and things. So you might want to have some, one of those sealable bags, but definitely a small towel in a resealable bag. We like those microfiber towels. They're much more absorbent. They're lighter weight, and have that. So once the rain is done, you can really, you're taking off your poncho. You can really get rid of all that dampness around and start fresh again.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting because rain can seem like a deterrent, and it is for a lot of people. But if you can fight your way through it, if you don't mind being a little uncomfortable for a little while, because the rain will pass almost all the time in Florida, it'll dump a lot for a short amount of time. But that will chase a lot of people out of the park.
Right, yeah.
And that is a great time to take advantage of that for that immediate time right afterwards to go ahead and hit up some of the attractions that maybe are a little busier and you won't get on a lot of at that point. Yeah, so if you can tough it out, if you're prepared for it, it can be really advantageous for you during your trip to use that rain time.
Right.
Plus it gets cooler. It can be like near pushing 100 during the day, and then it rains. And then right after that, the temperature drops by 10, 15 degrees for a little while.
Right, exactly.
And it's really, really pleasant to be walking around.
The humidity has dropped because it's already rained on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. So like you said, it definitely reduces the wait time at the attractions. And there are some attractions that are longer than others that you can say, hey, if it's really pouring down, let me try to get into Carousel of Progress or something like that you can be indoors for a while as well.
Fill our magic, something along those lines. Yep, for sure.
So anyway,
great tip, Michelle's tip. Always the best tip. My tip real quickly, and this is something that I was inspired by because of a couple of our last trips. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party was going on both of those trips. And one thing that we discovered, and we kind of knew this to begin with, but it was proven to us a couple trips ago when we went out there, that there's one great way to get a lot of the Magic Kingdom in a very short time on those nights when there is a special party going on. Now, obviously the park, when there's a party, it's going to close early, so you're not going to be staying at the park till 11 p.m. So it's up to you on what you want to do with your ticket that day. If, just staying till 6 p.m. is enough for you. But if you happen to have a park hopper option with your annual pass or your ticket, going there in the afternoon on one of those party nights is actually a great way to get a lot in a very short amount of time. That's because, you'll find out around that time, people know the park is closing at 6. So around about 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, people are starting to make their way to the exits. They're going to go to either hop to another park where they can spend the rest of the evening or back to their resort or do both. So they're starting to make their way out. Now, the party guests for Mickey's Not So Scary or Very Merry or whatever it may be, they can't get in till about 4 p.m., assuming that is a 6 p.m. Time when they actually the party begins. Right. So there's that little buffer time as people are leaving and before the other people can get in. And even that time at 4 p.m. when they're just barely starting to trickle in, that the crowds are actually pretty low at Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom can be very busy, as we all know. It's a great time during that period right there to hop over and get on some of the more popular attractions, some of the attractions you love. You'll see some lesser wait times during that space because either people are heading out or they're just starting to get in. So take advantage of that on those party nights. If you have that time, maybe you're not going to the party, whatever, or if you have that park hopper and you're also going to the party as well, go ahead and jump over there early because you can go into the park early if you have a park hopper pass and go in there and use it up. Get in there a little bit early and enjoy that time as well, that extended time in the parks. Right.
No, that's a great tip, honey. And actually, for people who don't have park hoppers, they may think that wouldn't be the day to go to Magic Kingdom because it's a shorter day. But actually, that's what makes it a
lot of people
day.
are thinking that.
A lot of people are thinking that. So they're like, okay, I don't have a park hopper and it closes at 6, so I'm going to go to Animal Kingdom Park today. Well, that's the way you can get in, and it's generally speaking a lighter crowd even from the beginning of the day. So, but like you're saying, definitely that early afternoon it really is reduced.
Yeah, it's really nice. Take advantage of that for sure. So that's it for this week. Next week, we already alluded to it earlier in the episode. We're very excited to be talking with Frank and Jen from Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. Yeah. We had a wonderful conversation with them earlier in the week, which we'll be posting next week. They talked with us all about their recent Disney cruise. Right. For Jen, it had been her first time in about a decade going on a Disney cruise. Frank had never been on a Disney cruise before. So we'll find out their thoughts on it, what they enjoyed, what maybe they didn't like as much,
what they recommend,
and also, we'll find out if they would do it again. So, but more than anything else, they're just great people, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time talking with them.
Yeah, I couldn't say that better.
Yeah, so you'll want to definitely tune in and listen to that. As for today's show, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
you'll be invited to sign up for the newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. Just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, and share with us what's going really fun in your life.
Yeah, whether it be Disney related or just personal, whatever. Right. We like all that positive energy. Yeah. That is shared on that site. Also, if you want to find some of our videos, we have some old ones there and we have some new ones coming on YouTube. Just go there, do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, hit subscribe, you'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and we love hearing from you, whether you're using that through Gmail or social media. What's really helpful for us is giving us a review.
Yep, that helps in so many ways. And even easier for you is just tell your friends about this show. Sure. That's a great way for people to find out that this show exists. And we appreciate everybody who's either given us a review, given us a rating, or just told a friend, or just listened. Thank you for even just listening to the show. Exactly. We appreciate that so much. So that's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.